Hello and welcome back to another 10-minute investor eye test with Arcanum Ventures. I'm Mello and this is my good friend and co-founder Sasha. And today we're going to be looking at Billions. Billions is the human and AI network built on mobile-first verification to scale the internet of value. Holy hell, that's a lot of buzzwords. Sasha, what do you know about Billions? And how you doing
Uh, we,
today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. We covered Billions in our 3 token launches happening
Okay.
this week video, and what I know about Billions is that they are a global identity protocol, and so this is interesting. There's been a few projects that have come to market around like creating some global verifiable on-chain identity for people, but it
hmm
seems that Billions is focusing not only on people but AI agents, which is probably a good use case because this is becoming more and more of a prominent technology. AI agents are being deployed for many applications, and they're going to continue to be deployed. So I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I guess we'll dive in and see what the token or the network actually does. I don't know anything beyond that.
Yeah, me neither. This is we're walking in blind here, and yeah, absolutely. I know that you love DID, and I think last cycle we talked a lot about like decentralized identity, and the need for that has grown considerably, especially with a lot of AI bots out there and agents. So, just for Sybil resistance or some of these like AI Kaito type mindshare apps, like how can we verify that people are actually who they say they are and they have their reputation associated? So I think this is also useful, but we're gonna have fun diving into this in the next 10 minutes. For those who haven't seen this before, we take 10 short minutes, sometimes 11, to dive in and see what the token does, how the network, if it's a network, functions, how the protocol looks. We don't have enough time to dive deeper than that, but we try to get a feel for it in 10 minutes and see if we'd like to go further in our assessment of this, or if we know or see enough to say, no, thank you. We don't want to be involved. We don't want to invest or whatever. So without further ado, I think we can just dive in and start the countdown and stay tuned till the end. We're going to give our verdicts.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 10 short minutes for Billions Network starting right meow. Boom. And so I've got crypto rank up here as we usually visit just to check out IDOs. And Billions is launching, or the IDO is active until today. So I'm assuming it's launching very shortly after. But right off the
hmm
bat, this description, it's a global verification platform that enables both humans and AI agents to establish trusted, privacy preserving identities. Already, that makes me think there's like some ZK involved.
Yeah, for sure. And like we said, it's definitely useful. And I think I'm starting to see more and more of these type of things launching. So I guess the market's dictating there's a need for them. Like there's obviously like WorldCoin, and then there was that other one, Humanity Protocol, that we did a video on. And
Mhm.
Ethos is another way to do reputation that we've been following quite closely. So yeah, these reputation systems are getting more and more important. And it looks like the the investors here agree. We got Coinbase Ventures, Polychain Capital, Bitcraft, Liberty City Ventures, never heard of them, but I like the name. Callback to GTA. And Polygon Labs, I think it was said as a lead investor, at least in one of the rounds. So they've raised a total of $30 million. I
Ooh.
guess we get to see why and how that was possible.
Yeah, and they're launching on Capital Launchpad, or there's an IDO active. I think there's an IDO or launch or like a fundraise active on Kaito as well.
Yeah, I think this is the
Yeah.
first Kaito launch pad launch that we've covered so far, but we knew that was a thing, but we haven't seen so many launching on their launch pad. But a lot of people like just yapping or talking about it on Kaito for mindshare. So I wonder how they combine those two things. Definitely
Hmm.
interesting to look into that too.
I see no information on the token supply or the valuation, so that's a bit abnormal. We don't usually see that, especially for something. This is probably the most hyped launch this week.
Yep.
It's a big one. They're raising $5 million on this launch pad and maybe a lot more on Kaito. So, like we would assume that the token supply valuation is quite high, actually. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's dive into the website and see what we can find. So I've got the Billions website up here, the Human and AI Network. Scroll to find out more about Billions. I like this actually. This is nice, nice graphic design work.
Yeah. At least it's unique and
Oh, that's
refreshing.
sweet. It's very cute. Okay, so prove you're a human and earn rewards. So that's very humanity protocol, right?
Yep. Yeah. I
It's very
think
WorldCoin.
I forgot where I saw it, but I think they made a point here. Maybe it's like further below. Oh yeah, right there. Verify with your phone. No proprietary hardware required. All you need is your phone, which
Ah,
is a big, big improvement over what humanity and WorldCoin are doing, right? Because like WorldCoin, you need this dystopian Orwellian orb to scan your eyeballs. Humanity, you need some proprietary tech to scan your palm print, and this apparently you can do with your phone, which makes some questions about like how legit is this tech and is it easy to fool it, but also like that's definitely more compelling than having to buy a piece of hardware to verify. You could just do it straight up with a phone, which is
yeah.
appreciated.
Yeah, or like going to some location with a bunch of people and visiting an orb. That's a bit dystopian. I hope they don't actively market that they're trying to provide universal basic income for your eyeballs here. But yeah, like verifying with your phone, maybe it's taking like a 3D map of your face and or an iris scan or whatever. That's nothing too new. Like a lot of newer phones, newer smartphones do that already for like unlocking the device. It's something that Snap is already doing, probably. Let's be honest. A crappy social media platform that somehow has sustained over a $10 billion valuation. They're totally selling biometric data. So, might as well get paid for it.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned ZK proofs, and you're absolutely right. Some of these are using, like WorldCoin claims they're using ZK proofs, so your data is technically safe. But I have my doubts with that company. I'm a little bit scared of what they might be planning, but I don't know enough about billions to make the same assumption about them. But I think they are definitely, all of these companies are focused, maybe without saying it, they're focused on UBI eventually, but they're not going to be the
Mhm.
ones paying out UBI. Maybe just incentivizing people to download and utilize these networks so that eventually when we do have some sort of UBI, maybe we have the rails to disperse on, which is certainly terrifying to think about and talk about right now. I don't
Yeah.
really want to go down that path, but maybe we're headed down there with AI getting the way it is, like advancing how much it's advanced.
I was just about to say that. Like the acceleration we're seeing in AI is like it's inevitable at this point that we're going to have some sort of global verifiable identity. Whether that
Yeah.
feeds into a social credit system or not, I guess that's yet to be seen, but we'll see what happens. So, no tech information so far on how they're verifying um, identity or keeping it on chain. I see some links out here, but it's again, like no new information. Um, but there's a number of sources that we've seen. Oh, so they've got like a reputation layer and a global trust economy. So verifying your ID unlocks exclusive benefits, personalized rewards, and unique digital experiences. Like that's nothing new, right? A lot of like Meta, for example, and Google, they're tailoring ads to each individual based on like their search history and information that they're tracking.
How I wonder how they're. I mean, I don't think they're using IMEI address, but it says they're verifying anonymously without biometric data involved. So I wonder how they're actually verifying you with, I imagine, ZK proofs, like you said, how they're verifying you and then locking it in and verifying that you're a real person and who you say you are, and then deleting that information or making sure it doesn't leak out or you're not housing that information. You're just verifying once,
It's really
anytime you
interesting.
need to. Yeah,
If
so I
they're
wonder
not
how
if
that works.
Yeah, if they're not taking biometric data, then it must be like the IMEI number. So that basically they're tying a device to a person, which it's not like maybe like
Not
ninety eight
great.
percent accurate. It's still
I don't know about that. I mean, what if you have multiple phones? Like, I don't think it's IMEI. That wouldn't make sense to me. But I don't know. I need to dig deeper on this and see
they're
how the hell they're actually verifying.
if they've got multiple phones, they're not targeting drug dealers. It's okay. So we don't have to worry about that. But they've got a technical white paper here, and it's for deep trust. I'm assuming this is maybe a technical layer for the protocol that talks about the verifiable identities and reputations for AI agents, which is really cool.
Are you sharing it
Um,
right now? I can't see it.
oh yeah, here we go. So this is
All right.
a 21
Nice.
page technical white paper, and we love technical white papers. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to dive in. We've got to look at some other stuff.
Yeah, the
But
uglier the better. It's very academic looking.
yeah, very academic. Let me just quickly search for the word token. Okay, there's only one instance of the word token, and it's here in reference to ENS tokens. So, like for verification for AI agents. So, there's nothing in here about tokens. I don't think there's anything about token supply or whatever. Where are the tokenomics, man?
Yeah, I think we said this early in the year. This has been more of a trend to be more opaque about token economics and little to no information, making it harder to find. I like that they have this. It means that they have put a lot of thought into the actual protocol and how they're going to design it. So I don't doubt that they know what they're doing just based off what I've seen so far. But yeah, it's a little bit worrying that nothing so far about the token.
There's nothing on the website. There's nothing that talks about how the network is operated. But Billions is right now trending as number one on Kaito. And for those of you that don't know, Kaito is sort of like a social verification layer that rewards people based on how they're engaging with content from specific companies. So it's a huge launch, right? I think they
Yep.
might have some information here, but I don't want to sign up for Kaito, to be honest. And I noticed there's this page, Coin Launch, which is new to me, but it's kind of like an analytics for an upcoming coin launch, ironically. And so they've got some information. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Total raise 35 million. That's nothing new. Again, um, so they're using ZK attestations according to the site. Privacy
Hmm.
preserving system that uses zero knowledge proofs, verifiable credentials, etc. Semantic relations, permissionless framework for establishing standardized and meaningful connections between agents, and schema enabling transparent provenance. Okay, interesting. And then DIDs, of course. That's the big thing here.
Do you see that
But it
right
looked,
there? Billions token. As
yeah.
of
So
August, there is no info concerning the native token of the project. However, the Billions Network Web3 project is currently running a points farming campaign and has an ongoing token sale on Kaito Capital Launchpad. So, Sasha, is this like a
wow.
dream opportunity to say, hey, Billion team, reach out to Arcanum Ventures. We can help you with that token economics that you probably didn't design yet. If you need help, you know who to contact.
It's wild. Look at this, 200 mil FTV. So that's really high for not showing anything around supply dynamics or token use case or whatever. It's kind
Yep.
of like, are they launching Blast Network? I don't know what's
I
happening,
think they have more than
but
Blast does.
I've got some tweets that I pulled up, and it looks like some people are confirming this. Oh, that's our 10 minutes. But I just want to run through this real quick. So, Stacy Murr tweeted or xed. I don't want to ruin your party, but did anyone read the tokenomics of Billions Network, or do we no longer need to reveal tokenomics to raise money? And so it's a great point, right? They're targeting 5 million. I assume this is Kaito actually, but no tokenomics information. And I think that's kind of shared. There's this tweet from Crypto Loss. I believe he's from Turkey or Turkey, but I think this is a printout from Kaito itself. And again, not seeing a whole lot around what the token use case could be. Maybe it's later in this page, but it's wild. It's kind of like
Gated.
hidden, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Interesting.
And then we do have this here for airdrop.link, talking about community allocation. And then 35% of the supply apparently going to current participants, 15% reserved for future initiatives, and allocated for upcoming community incentives, liquidity farming, and ecosystem. It seems like all the tokenomics information is coming from third-party sources, though. That's a bit worrying.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for a company that's shilling transparency multiple times on their website.
Well, okay, that's a shame, but let's go to verdicts. And before we do, I'd like to remind all of you, beautiful and handsome viewers of ours, make sure you tap that like button if you're enjoying this content and stick around. We got some fun interviews and some more eye tests coming. Mello, you want to dive in or you want me to start?
Yeah, I can go real quick. Not a whole lot to add from what we've been saying already, but like I definitely see a need for this type of thing. Who's going to crack the code, or if it's going to be multiple companies, remains to be seen. I think I would prefer a future where there's dozens of these companies rather than one that just takes over and has everybody's data. Even though they say they don't take your biometric data, I think it's good to democratize this and have a diversified offering of these type of service providers, so that the world can choose and we can scale those, or we can choose to go with who we want to work with for these. Maybe they all do slightly different things or different target markets or geographies, whatever. It doesn't matter. Overall, I think it's interesting. I think a lot of thought's been put into it. I haven't obviously read the technical white paper, but just by the look of it, maybe I'm biased from what I've seen in the past. It looks like they put a lot of thought into it. They know their stuff. They've carefully built this out. We haven't seen the app or anything, the phone app or how this actually works. We don't know anything about the token. Obviously, that's the point we made clear in the end of the video. So I don't know enough about it. I think it's I'm curious enough to like look into it and maybe probe a little bit more and ask, like, can you reveal some token economic information so I could at least see how this functions? Is it like its own blockchain layer? What are the plans for this? Who are you planning on partnering with? Who's building it? Why is it better than the others aside from like not having your own proprietary hardware? So I'm curious enough about it to say yes. I'd give it a thumbs up, but I do hate that they're very opaque about really vital information about who's invested at what valuation, what the token's going to do. Why should people on Kaito be talking about it with no information? And why should they be signing up for what amounts to an IDO or ICO on Kaito's capital launchpad without knowing what they're actually putting money towards? So maybe they're hoping to capitalize on that campaign, like talk about it, get excited about it. Look at our mind shares #1 on Kaito right now. Do you want some of that upside exposure? Maybe you can make some money. I guess that's their hope because I haven't seen anything else about their launch. Who knows when this is even going to launch? So yeah, I would like to see more information. I think that the team should definitely be more transparent about what that is. And if they haven't thought it out yet, if they just raised a bunch of money, $35 million, and they haven't figured out the utility or the system or the protocol design, then your friends at Arcanum Ventures can definitely have a conversation. We'll do it for free. So reach out to us. We're happy to talk and give you consultation on that. But yeah, that's my verdict.
Nice plug, man. I think I echo everything that you said. So the technical white paper for the AI agent verifiable identity, I love this. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I've been waiting for a company to try and tackle this issue because it's going to be so important. Haven't seen a whole lot around the infrastructure, what they plan on doing for, let's say data storage or data warehousing. How does the application actually work on your smartphone? What are they actually tracking if it's not biometric data? These are all big questions because it feeds into like how viable is this as a business for partnering with institutions or organizations or private businesses or governments or whatever to provide this sort of like identity service. And so I think we need to really dive into that. As far as like if this is a good business to invest in, I don't know. They don't have any information. At least we haven't seen the blog. We haven't seen any information on like, let's say, revenue developing partnerships. Like, what are they going to use this data or the network for? What's their vision really? Like, they have a lot of abstract language, like verifiable on-chain identity for AI agents and humans to prove you're a thing or whatever. It's like, but what are you doing with that? What do you want to pursue? Like, what does the future kind of look like? So maybe we skimmed over that. We haven't seen it. But understanding that information is going to give us a big idea about where these founders' heads are at when it comes to the business itself. And then last but not least, I hate that there's no information about the token. A company that's trying to provide transparency or verifiable identity for people behaving on chain or financially on protocols or whatever, and they're taking this like, let's be really secretive about this asset launch while they're raising funding. Like, how many people really know what they're buying if there's no information around token use case or how it ties into the protocol or the ZK layer or whatever? So that's a big concern. Again, it's definitely a gap that they need to fill. Maybe they release more information closer to the launch date to generate hype. We've seen that kind of strategy before. Again, not a fan of it, but yeah, if they don't have use cases or if it's kind of like a flimsy or weak use case, then they should really try and working on that because they need to try and bring value accrual to the network for these people handing them their identities. I think that's very important. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of very angry people, much like what we saw with WorldCoin failing to provide a universal basic income. So overall, I would say one thumb up, like not diagonal, one thumb up. I want to learn more. I'm very curious. This infrastructure needs to exist, and I want to see if they're doing it right, because it might be a good investment in the future. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
and
verdict.
I agree 100%. I think we're aligned here. And one thing neither one of us mentioned also is like, what the hell are these rewards for? Like, what are you rewarding people for? If you're not housing their data, are you just paying people to use this? They got to make money somehow to justify this being a business. So that's also something I would look to, and you would probably look to. But maybe that's part of the conversation we have to have with the team. But anyways, we'll leave that to them. Thank you for joining us for another 10-minute investor eye test. I think we went over by a half minute today, but that's okay. And like Sasha said, subscribe below, leave us comments. A lot of people get angry that we go over the time limit, or we don't take enough time to look into these and we get it all wrong. So tell us how we're wrong, and who we should look at next week maybe. And we hope to see you then. Thanks for joining. Have a good week, y'all.
Ciao, y'all.